You're tuning into Black and White Sports on YouTube. The no-holds-barred truth on sports. The main event starts now.
I'm back. Rodrance for Black and White Sports 2. Well, we're going to talk 49ers. A couple of different things. George Kittle returns. We're going to talk about Doug Gottlieb. Of course, he's a Fox Sports radio host. He's been around forever, 20 years. Most notably, and how I know Doug is, he filled in with Colin Cowherd back in the ESPN days. And I think occasionally he still does. And then, of course, Doug has had his own radio show forever, 20 years, nationally. So he has come out, he made some comments about Trey Lance's injury and what he thinks that means for Trey Lance, and I tend to agree with him. I think it may be a wrap with Trey Lance and the 49ers, at least from the standpoint of, hey, you've got a starting job. Because I just think the Niners may see the Garoppolo thing happen this year, probably make the playoffs again. Got a team that's worthy of winning a Super Bowl, but let's say they just win one playoff game. And you're going to have to take a step back as a franchise and go, you know what? We have a quarterback that's gotten us to the playoffs 3 times and won several playoff football games for us, including having gotten to a Super Bowl. And who knows, they may get to the Super Bowl and win it this year. I just think their hands going to get forced to either have to go get a notable Jimmy Garoppolo upgrade. And what I mean by notable is, frankly, the guys that I can think of that would be a notable upgrade over Jimmy G, teams aren't going to trade. They're not going to get rid of. Okay, I don't see them just wanting to let a Justin Herbert just saunter out the door, or kind of interesting what's going on with Joe Burrow, but you get the point. It's got to be a notable upgrade. There's some guys that a lot of people might think are interchangeable, but at the same time, Garoppolo's got a considerably better winning percentage and record in big games than guys like Derek Carr and Kirk Cousins. It kind of is what it is. Yeah, statistically, you guys look good, but you don't win games as much as Jimmy, right? So let's get to this from over Trey Lance and Doug Gottlieb first. Also, if you're listening on podcast, make sure you hit subscribe. I am going to try to do a little bit longer videos on this channel. That way the podcast audience, longer form stuff does better over there. And we're really starting to get the listens on the podcast. So go subscribe on podcast if you just want the audio. Doug Gottlieb on Trey Lance. Sunday was the end of Trey Lance with the Niners. This is interesting. I think Sunday was the end of Trey Lance with the Niners. I know you're like, God, Gottlieb, that's so harsh. I don't make the rules of the NFL. I'm just telling you the reality. Maybe next year he gets a shot to fight to be a starter. Maybe, and that's in caps. But think about it. It wasn't like he blew everyone out of the water in terms of preparation and performance in the preseason. Last year he was very, very green. He was a project guy, and he only played 1 year in college because of the COVID year. But it wasn't like he was so good. Of course, they'll get rid of Jimmy Garoppolo. They have the guy. Nobody said that, and nobody said that for a reason. So you factor in, nobody knows how good he is. He's still inexperienced, and next year he's going to be equally inexperienced. And now he's coming off of an injury. One of the reasons the Niners wanted to move on from Garoppolo was because he's always hurt. I don't know if you've noticed, Trey Lance tends to get hurt a lot. This only works one of two ways. Garoppolo is not great, and they move on from him at the end of the season. But they're going to go after another quarterback. Or Jimmy Garoppolo is good, he gets his job back, he resigns, and Trey Lance is the backup and still develops. Next year is year 3, and they have to decide whether they want to pick up the 5th year. The days of him being handed the starting quarterback job with the Niners ended Sunday. with that injury. That's the reality of the league, and that's the reality of where he is as a player. He's now performed to date, how he's performed to date, and having an injury at this point in the season, that's the last you'll see of Trey Lance as the starting quarterback of the 49ers without some sort of fight during training camp or another injury. It makes a lot of sense as far as I'm concerned. I think one reason you draft a guy like that is because you're looking for starting seasons under that rookie contract. And they've got nothing out of this guy. Nothing. Now, it's going to look terrible on Kyle and on John Lynch for having given up so many assets, but there's no other way to put it. From the outside looking in, if you take a step back, Trey Lance is a bust. Okay? There, I said the B word. Okay? I said the B word. But it is what it is. He hasn't blown anybody away in any camps or any practices. It's not like the news that are the oh my gods and the holy craps that leaked out of the Mahomes rookie red shirt year, and then with the Chiefs, and then leaked out of training camp. I mean, those guys knew this guy's a badass. None of that's come out, okay? I've said this is akin to Jordan Love with the Packers, except you don't have Aaron Rodgers, you got Jimmy Garoppolo. The fact is, oddly enough, I think the Niners make the playoffs. They got that kind of a team. I think they'd be 2-0 right now if Jimmy would have started the season. This is going to end with Jimmy Garoppolo getting a new contract, believe it or not. He's going to end up getting a new contract out of this because they're going to make the playoffs. He's going to win a game. And then how the hell can you justify at that point a quarterback that by the end of the season, he's going to be something from 25 to 30 games over 500 as a quarterback, a starting quarterback, and he's probably at that point going to have how many postseason wins under his belt? You know, it's something you got to think about at this point. I think Jimmy and Kyle and John are now tied at the hip. It just is what it is. Let's go over. We'll take a look real fast because George Kittle is back. George Kittle will make his 2022 debut Sunday night. Head coach Kyle Shanahan told reporters Kittle is, quote, ready to go. After he was taken off the injury report, he suffered a groin injury September 5th in practice leading up to the Niners opener. Even though this is his sixth season, he is excited as ever to get on the field. Quote, I'm pretty happy. Kittle said Thursday, just a breath of fresh air. Honestly, it feels great to be back on the football field with the boys. I love our performance staff. They do a fantastic job of getting us back together. But I'd be okay with not really seeing them for the rest of the season. So just really happy to be out there catching the football, actually getting to put the pads on and hit the field. So he has not played a full season since 2017, missing half of 2020 and 3 more games last year. And we know that, when he's on the field, Kittle is dominant. He is absolutely dominant. As a tight end, he's one of the best tight ends in the league, probably top 3, 4 in the entire league when he's on the field and when he's healthy. So nobody knows what to expect. This Denver game is so weird because Denver is so weird right now. I mean, outside looking in early, the Broncos look like a dumpster fire. Like Nathaniel Hackett has no idea what he's doing, and this surely can't be right. And from an offensive standpoint, looks lost when he's known to be a good offensive coach. Okay, so I don't know what's going on in Denver right now, and it's kind of got me wondering, is Russell Wilson on the decline? Has something happened with him? Is his head not screwed on straight? Even he doesn't look good. I don't know. I've got the Niners in that game, and It's Sunday night. Honestly, I got the Niners by like 10. I think they're going to win by like 10 points. Denver just doesn't look good right now. They don't. I mean, the Niners should be, at least on paper, the superior team. Plain and simple. Now, there was Kyle Shanahan, and I'll just touch on this a little bit. Kyle Shanahan did get a little testy with reporters because earlier in the week, Jimmy Garoppolo said something about he likes it better when it felt like he had the gloves taken off of him a little bit. When he came in the game the other day, I guess he was like, look, Kyle, let me sling it around. That does raise something I've been meaning to talk about for a long time, and it's about the fact that, in all honesty, sometimes I would wish that Kyle would take an approach like Josh McDaniels did with Jimmy Garoppolo. I mean, the fact is, McDaniels, he was that was a move the chains offense too, a lot like Kyle's, but McDaniels would let Jimmy sling the ball around. Sometimes I think Jimmy's numbers don't look as good because Kyle Shanahan won't let him rip it 35 times. Sometimes I'm like, is Jimmy underperforming because of the actual offense that he's in right now? I don't know. That's something we don't ever talk about. Well, he's liable to throw a pick. Well, yeah, but what if he throws 3 touchdowns in every game? Then you're 3-1. What if he throws 4 touchdowns in every game? I know that's not going to happen, but you get my point right now. Okay? You got to kind of wonder if Jimmy might not, if Kyle took a step back and just, took the gloves off and opened up the passing offense a little bit, you got to wonder, could Jimmy throw for 35 with about 12 picks? That's a hell of a season. It is. 4,200 yards? I'd take that. I'd take that out of my starting quarterback every day of the week and twice on Sunday. Well, Kyle got sort of testy. He's like, he got a little bit shitty with reporters, and I understand reporters, some of the questions they ask are ridiculous, but they are trying to do a job. And, Jimmy's comments were Jimmy's comments. They are what they are. If Jimmy felt like the gloves were taken off a little more, now Shanahan's saying, no, we didn't do anything different. Well, something felt different to your quarterback, okay? So, I don't know. We'll see. But I do know one thing, and there was no doubt about this. When Jimmy came in the game, that entire offense was fired up. It was like, oh my God, we got our quarterback is in the game now. Our quarterback is back. I mean, there were comments coming out that just in the huddle, it was like, holy crap, we've got our quarterback back. This is our quarterback. This is our quarterback's voice. That doesn't look very good for Trey Lance. It doesn't. That doesn't look good for Trey Lance. And I'm going to tell you, the Niners were upset. Remember the whole Jimmy Garoppolo dating a porn star thing? If the 49ers were upset about that, how upset do you think they were about that leaked video with Trey Lance? I'm telling you right now, Kyle Shanahan is super old school. He's old school like Mike Shanahan. If you think behind the scenes, behind closed doors, Kyle Shanahan did not throw something up against the wall when that video came out, you're out of your mind. I imagine he was furious. I mean, think about it. He's used to Jimmy Garoppolo, Matt Ryan, Kirk Cousins. Okay, think about that. Versus, I'm making it rain on the video. I'm telling you right now, Kyle Shanahan behind the scenes had to be livid over that. Makes you wonder, too, Kyle Shanahan just out on Trey Lance now? Because if Kyle doesn't like what he's seeing out of Trey Lance, and if there is possibly some work ethic issues we don't know about behind the scenes, and we don't, involving Trey Lance, and this video comes out, is it possible that Kyle Shanahan is literally like, you know what, I'm done with this guy. wash my hands, I'm out. I don't know. We don't know. Tell me what you think. Black and White Sports 2 supporters. I know this is a little different video because I'm like, drawing it out a little bit, and but I wanted it to be a little longer for the pod, and I wanted to talk about multiple subjects. Trey Lance, Jimmy, where are we here? George Kittle returns, and give you a prediction. So I'm going with a 10-point win for the Niners in this game versus Denver. Peace. I'm out. Till next time.
Thanks for watching the show. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Be sure to tune in next time on Black and White Sports.